Hi, my name is Mikhayel Jacob. Welcome to my channel. And if you're new here, we go over rebuilds, car parts, and everything fun and car related. There's nothing else like the sound of a rotary engine. The signature high revving brap is a sound of pure mechanical magic, and it's captured the hearts of car enthusiasts for decades. But for every rotary owner who loves that sound, there's quiet fear in the back of their mind. The fear of a blown apex seal, loss of compression, and the nightmares just keep us up at night. And that's what happened to me. The sudden silence is always followed by terrible choices. You can take it to a specialist, face the bill that might be a bit more than the car is even worth, or you can try and tackle it yourself. Staring down a mountain of parts, so complex, feels like a jigsaw puzzle, honestly, with half the pieces missing, one from one retailer and one from another. Honestly, the internet's a mess of conflicting advice, old forum arguments, and discontinued part numbers, and the dream of rebuilding your own engine honestly turns into a daunting nightmare. But what if you can get everything you need to build a reliable, powerful rotary engine? That's the hope today. What if you could skip the guesswork, the fear, and all the cringy, terrible stuff to have to deal with and finding new parts? Man, here today we're unboxing the Atkins Rotary Master Rebuild Kit to see if it has everything we need, which this should have, and what's missing and what I would change. Here it is on the table. This is the 9395 Rx7 Master Rebuild Kit from Atkins Rotary. Hopefully the solution to many of the headaches for rotary owners. From the outside, it's just a cardboard box, but on the inside, hopefully lies the keys to never having to do this again. It feels substantial, it feels important. Opening the kit is gonna be a big deal for how much this actually costs now. It isn't just a box of parts, it's actually everything that holds the engine together. So let's get it open. First things first, you notice how perfectly organized everything is. Atkins Rotary has a reputation for this, and you can see right away. And that is why. Every part is individually bagged, clearly labeled, and grouped with the parts it belongs with. So if you're a first-time builder like me, or even if you've done this before, there's a huge confidence boost. It takes an overwhelming job for a rotary rebuild, and to break it down into its individual components to help you put it together where it's still small and manageable steps makes all the difference. Neatly spot the major groups. This bag is obviously soft seals and gasket. This one seems to have the oil and oil system parts. And then you have the smaller bags, which I believe this has an oil chain. And the really important stuff, such as the seals, major thing. So I'm gonna show you piece by piece and talk through what most of them do, why it's important, and what makes this part of the kit very special, that it has all the pieces that you really need to get it up and running to its fullest extent. It's a tour of rotary engine core components, so let's start with the foundation. So let me actually read to you what comes in this. So this is the 9395 Master Rebuild Kit. So it does come with apex seals, which I opted for a different one. I'm going with race only apex seals. So this does have the side seal springs, OEM corner seals and plugs, corner seal springs, metal oil control rings, Viton oil control rings, ring inserts, oil pump chain, front and rear main seals, thermal pellets, thrust bearings, oil filter, and I believe that's everything. So it does come with a hefty amount of things. It's pretty much like a laundry list of things, and it's everything you need to get your car up and running. Before you can make power, you have to seal the engine. An engine is basically a series of controlled explosions. You gotta keep the oil and coolant exactly where they need to be, especially in a rotary engine. That's the job of the soft seals and gaskets, and this kit is loaded with them. From the front and rear main gasket sets This has everything for the intake manifold gaskets to the water pump gaskets, and then the actual whole oil pan. So any of these leaks can cause a major headache, whether it's an oil drip, coolant leak, vacuum leak. Then you'll spend weeks trying to track it down and starting from fresh with a high quality gasket kit again. And these are not cheap, so you definitely don't want to have to go over using them again if you really don't need to. But the most famous and maybe most feared, the soft seals in a rotary, are right here. The coolant seals this kit comes with Atkins' own seamless square cut inner water jacket seals. This is a serious upgrade from the stock seals. Being seamless makes it much more easier to install without twisting them, which is a classic mistake which can destroy an engine before it even starts. Atkins also says these are made to handle much more heat than the factory seals, giving you a much bigger safety margin, especially if you're gonna drive the car hard like me. Then you have all the O-rings, a whole bag of them. Front cover, rear main stationary gear, dowel pins. It all seems like a lot, but every single one is critical. These little dowel pins, O-rings for example, stops oil from leaking out of the sandwich of an engine that holds everything together. If you forget one of these tiny O-rings, you might have to pull out the whole engine again, and that's a big no-no. Finally, we've got the front and rear mainspring. These heavy-duty seals keep the engine oil contained at both ends of the eccentric shaft. If one of these fail, it makes a huge mess and you have to pull the transmission or the front pulley assembly to fix it. Starting fresh with high-quality seals is just common sense, and it definitely takes care of it in this kit. Now that the engine's sealed up, we can look at the internal systems. The oil and cooling system is like the engine's circulatory system, and people often underestimate how important this is. A failure here doesn't mean low oil pressure. It means total destruction of the bearings, rotors, and housing. New engine. Bad news. The first parts we see here are the engine control rings. Each rotor uses 4 of these rings with springs behind them, and their job is to scrape oil off the iron housings and send it back into the oil pan, keeping it out of the combustion chambers. And if these fail, you'll see blue smoke out your exhaust and burn a ton of oil. No bueno. And this will build up a lot of carbon on your rotors. This kit includes a complete set of metal rings with the Vuitton O-ring inserts. This kit includes a complete set of metal O-rings, the Vuitton O inserts, and this material is known for handling high temperatures, especially here in the Middle East. That's my main concern, is keeping temps low. And it's another small upgrade that goes a long way in making the engine last. Next up is the oil pump chain. And exactly what it sounds like. It's a small chain that drives the oil pump. And this can cause your oil pressure to become unstable if this is not something that you regularly take care of. It's a part that can be easily overlooked in a budget build and includes everything that you need to keep your car in its comprehensive shape that you really want to keep it in. And that's the main thing when you're looking at maintenance and longevity for your engine. One of the most unique rotary parts here is the thermal pellet. This little thing sits inside the front of the eccentric shaft and is designed to melt if the engine oil gets a little too hot. It melts and it redirects the oil flow to protect the rotor bearings from oil starvation. While some builders choose to remove it, the fact that it includes it in this kit shows that it's designed for a full factory-style restoration of all engine systems. Finally, the kit includes a new oil filter. It may seem small, but it's a really nice touch. After a rebuild, the last thing you want to do is get old debris running through your engine that your previous filter didn't get, especially when freshly built. That's the last thing you want to have to think about. Let's get to the good stuff. These are the parts that define the rotary engine. They're the source of all its power, often all its problems. We're talking about apex seals, side seals, and corner seals. This is the system that creates 3 moving combustible chambers and generates compression within the engine. A failure here is the end of the line for your engine. Let's start at the corners. This kit includes a full set of Atkins solid corner seals and springs. Corner seals are meant to Let's start at the corners. This kit includes a full set of Atkins solid corner seals and springs. Corner seals fill the tiny gap where the apex seals and side seals meet. Stock engines often use a 2-piece design with a rubber plug that could break down over time. Upgrading your corner seals to solid corner seals is a common practice and makes this critical junction a bit more durable. I personally have had mine side clearance on my rotors just because there has been a part where it has nicked the actual housing in my engine, damage that you cannot come back from, gouging and scraping the irons, which ultimately leads to having to buy a new housing. Next are the side seals and their springs. I've got 12 of them and 6 for each rotors. These long and thin pieces of metal seal the sides of the rotor against the iron housing. Setting the proper side seal clearance is one of the most important and tedious jobs in the rebuild, requiring you because they have to be hand ground and fit to the actual rotor and housing. And then it would be ready for the final fitting. And for now, the main event, as any rebuild would need, is the apex seals. But honestly, I don't actually have those with me now because I've chosen to actually go with race onlys because they've been made in a way that is durable for more higher temperature. And especially for where I am in the Middle East, the climate kind of dictates that essentially most, if not all the time, that engine is going to be running way hotter than usual. So they've kind of geared their apex seals towards that. So I've opted for theirs instead. Atkins does offer their 2mm and 3mm seals that you can get with this kit, and you have the option to choose from on their website as well. For years, people have argued which is better. The general kind of agreement is that the OEM Mazda seals are incredibly strong, and that's what I've had on my car for the past 2 years, and then the last 8 months of my actual ownership. But the OEM Mazda seals are incredibly strong, but also very brittle. If you have a bad detonation event, they tend to shatter into pieces that can cause catastrophic damage to your engine. And I cannot stress that enough. Once your seals go and it spreads out throughout the engine, scuffing, scratching, gouging, and shooting through turbos, definitely tell you your wallet's going to be hurting after. Ultimately, the right choice depends on your goals. For me, I'm going with a street port, race-only apex seals, Atkins full rebuild kit, stock sequential turbos running in parallel with a block-off plate, and my main thing is reliability here. The apex seals and the Atkins rebuild kit are an easy yes and a logical choice for my dedicated build. I'm not going for insane numbers or high boosts, but ultimately it will give it the strength and reliability that I'm looking for to just drive my car as much as possible. We've laid out a whole bunch of new parts, perfectly labeled. It looks like a complete engine in a box, but that's where you do really need to be realistic. And that's what isn't here. From your iron housings to your rotors, is making sure that they're in the right condition for you to actually move forward with the whole rebuild. It's built and designed to replace all the critical wear items, assuming your main hard parts like your irons are still in good shape. This means obviously the kit does not include rotors, rotor housings, or iron sides, or iron housings. I'd honestly recommend you tear down your engine before you order the kit to really inspect the parts and make sure you know exactly what it is you need to actually get the engine up and running again. Are your housings deeply grooved? Is the chrome flaking? Are my water jacket seals wearing a bit too thin? Do you have rust and corrosion in places you shouldn't? And those are a big added cost if you don't actually assess your engine properly to move forward with the rebuild. It assumes that you're really starting with a good core engine. The kit does provide all the gaskets, seals, springs needed to bring back the core of the engine back to life. but it doesn't include the stationary gear bearing, the rotor bearing, which you should inspect and replace if needed. Finally, it doesn't come with a special tool or the tools needed for a rebuild, like the flywheel stopper, a big 54mm socket for the main nut, or a dial indicator. You'll need to get those separately, which obviously this kit does not include. And that way you can focus your time and money on the big ticket items and getting the right tools for the job. So if you're looking at everything here, everything laid out in front, from the complete gasket kits, the O-rings, the upgraded coolant seals, the refreshed oil system parts, and all the critical engine seals, it's time to answer the original question. Is this the only rotary rebuild kit you'll ever need? Probably. This does actually have everything and more of all the items you'll actually need to have replaced, will want to replace, or inevitably will need to replace. For most rotary owners, the enthusiast building a reliable motor for a street car like me, the person doing their first build, or the builder who wants to remove all the guesswork, the answer is a definite yes. This kit isn't just a box of parts, it's actually a complete solution. It's a solution that eliminates the biggest fear of any home rebuild, forgetting something important, and everything is here. The real value isn't just in the money that you've saved by bundling up all these parts. It's the confidence it gives you. Knowing that you have every seal, every gasket, every O-ring, every high quality engine part that you'll need, and that they've chosen to work together. For anyone working on a stock street ported or moderately boosted engine, this kit is definitely it. It takes the fear out of the project and peace of mind straight out the box. And that way you can focus on really, really important stuff like cleaning, measuring, assembling, and getting all the logistics for the other parts out of the way. It really does turn a massive intimidating project into something clear. Very, very clear with the way they've organized it and laid everything out in the box. So with that, you'll actually be able to check my whole rebuild series for my Rx7 up here on the top left. I want to hear from you. If you rebuilt a rotary, what was your experience? Did you use a kit like this? And if so, what other kits have you used? And did you source everything by yourself alternatively? Let me know in the comment section down below. Your story could help someone else who's just starting out. And with that, thank you guys for watching. I hope you like it. Comment, subscribe.